Hey besties, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Tash if you're new here. For some reason I have this obsession with Pinterest at the moment. I think it's because I've just moved into my new house and we are making plans to renovate, so I've just been making Pinterest boards for different areas of the house, different rooms, just all these different ideas that I've been collecting, and I just need somewhere to put them. So Pinterest has been that safe space for me, my creative space, if you will. I mean, this isn't a new concept at all. A lot of people do it for their 5-star reads, but I thought maybe I will make a mood board for each of the books I read in this video to try and convince you to either read it or just show you what I did read in general if I didn't end up enjoying it as much. I thought it would be a fun idea because I really just want to browse Pinterest. My first book I want to read is The Favourite. So this is by Lane Fargo. It has recently come out, I think as of early January, mid-January. So many people last year that I saw received ARCs gave this a 5-star. And since it's released, so many more people have given this a 5-star. That's intrigued me. I've seen a few comments saying that it's similar to Magnolia Parks, and then I've seen people say don't listen to them, it's more like Daisy Jones and the Six in the way that it's written, because this is told from a documentary style. I started it last night and I will say so far I'm only 3 chapters in. I'm not very far. Yes, it is documentary style and I would say more Daisy Jones and the Six, and I'm not even that far in. I wouldn't say that this is anything like Magnolia Parks universe at all. Maybe the drama might be, but I don't think the drama is going to be similar. What I do know about the story is it just followed 2 ice skaters and they go from a very troubled home life. One of them was in foster care, one of them just has a bad home life in general with her family, and they make a friendship and also form a relationship. It all revolves around their duo skating that they have. I don't know what the correct term is for it, but like a doubles partner. No, what is it? You get what I mean. They're just dance partners for ice skating. They are going into a states tournament, or maybe just in general trying to get in through competitions, and then slowly I think that they build up, become quite famous, and then it's like showing peak and then the pit of all of that. I've met Katarina's brother, and we've also had the documentary commentary from a couple of the coaches and a few other of the dancers there as well. Enjoying it so far. I'm already planning out what I'm going to be putting in the mood board. I'll check in with you guys once I'm probably about halfway. We've made it to about halfway, probably just over halfway, and I'm currently so obsessed with the story. I'm loving every second while I'm reading it. It is very fast paced, but like so messy. Like there's so much drama that is happening, there's so much tension, and not just between the couple, I mean between every single person who's in here, because it is a competition between ice skaters, and it's just there's so much rivalry, so much competitiveness. It's so much fun. They've now moved into the ice skating world, which they've slowly been getting their footing in there, but not really finding the funds to support this sport because it is a very expensive sport, and obviously any sport really, when you're trying to go nationals, Olympics, etc., it's very costly and expensive to be able to have that sort of training. They're struggling with that, so they've slowly been getting by and making it just by the skin of their teeth. Yeah, they've finally now got to a stage where they're getting their recognition. There is some drama that's happened, and now officially they are at the stage where I would say they're enemies, but I wouldn't classify it as like a true enemies, if you know what I mean, but they have a real hatred towards each other at this stage. We've just hit the tipping point of, are they going to be friends again because of some event that has happened? And I'm interested to see like where that takes us. I do know that they end up famous in this, but we haven't really hit that stage So I wouldn't technically say we're at like the celebrity status where more issues are going to come and play into their dynamic. So I'm assuming that's going to be a later issue that's coming. The story in itself, it is so engaging. I think the slowest part was maybe the first chapter. Since then, every single chapter has been so steady and consistent with how the story is being told. The plot of where the first little conflict happened and where that ended up with within their dance academy, I sort of saw where that was coming and where Heath was going to play into that. I sort of knew where he was going to come back, and that really wasn't a surprise. So yeah, with the story as well, I think if anyone who loves really messy characters, you're going to really connect with both of the main characters, because I have certainly. And I feel like when there's usually like some form of trauma in their upbringing, it really adds a lot to them as people when you're reading them. And I really fell in love with both Heath and Katrina. For some reason, I'm just rooting for them so badly, whether that's just individually or together, but I just really, really enjoy reading about them and their story. I need to readjust this. I think I keep hitting the camera. Hopefully won't be as wobbly back on that part of the couch. I think I kept just like knocking my knee, but anyway, we'll see if that's any better. It definitely feels very, very immersive, and I'm talking to the point where when I'm reading their dance sequences and just like the connection between the dance partners, I'm so invested. Like I'm just like waiting for the next thing to happen. It just feels like you're there in the arena with all of the characters. And with the writing as well, like I really am enjoying the writing. It is written in a documentary style. Half the chapter usually written as you usually would read, and then the last few pages are usually the documentary of them talking after the events. So we're sort of going in sequence order, but at the end obviously we're getting a sneak peek into like everyone's thoughts and opinions. I'm trying to like think of like where I think the story is going to go and what I think is going to happen next. I feel like they're both going to become famous together as a couple, I'm assuming, and then possibly maybe the fame is what draws them apart again. So we probably have like like a relationship break, they come back together, another relationship break, and then the final ending. I'm assuming maybe the documentary at the very, very end, that's where they sort of rekindle. I'm assuming, because we with the documentary we haven't heard from them directly, it's from everyone else's point of views who have been involved within their process. So far, we've not heard from them in the future. And I'm assuming maybe that's where they'll rekindle. But I would say, like, overall, for like what I need from this book, I wouldn't really change anything else so far. I'm really enjoying the pacing, the characters, the actual plot. It's so, so good. So far, I've been saving so many photos to my camera roll for the mood board. I'm like having the best time. But the only thing is I'm really like finding the exact same photos over and over again. So I'm trying to find some more different stuff to show you guys, because I feel like I found so many beautiful photos, but I'm like, these are all the exact same thing. Like they're just of a couple dancing. Like I really need to find some other stuff, but they all look so nice, so pretty. Anyway. Have officially finished this book, as we can tell. I absolutely loved every second of it. I probably am not 100% on a 5-star read, so I will just point that out. It's not giving me that 5-star feeling, but I fell in love with this book so hard. It was so, so, so good, so delicious, so toxic, and so, so messy. Through my reading journey, I realized I do love myself a very messy FMC, even male main character, just a messy couple. It feels realistic, and I also love the fact that they make mistakes, they learn from them, and they come together again. What I did love about the topics that it covered, we got to really get a deep dive into really about the sport, ice skating in general, the coaching, the racism, the sexism, the classism within the sport, and also just in the... You alright, buddy? You coming in to say hi? You coming in to say hi? Come here. Come say hi. Say hi. We really got to have a good deep dive into like celebrity culture as well. Maybe as well the wording, I wouldn't say that it was more relative to ice skating. I'd probably say more sports in general, which obviously is probably a topic, especially throughout the early 2000s, and the way that media was used against, just normal everyday people once they become celebrities. Like, it's out of their control. Like, they have no control what is put out into the media. And this book really does deep dive into all of that, which I loved, and I thought it was so much fun to actually read about, and it was just so toxic. So much drama, and I loved it. My overall rating for this book is a 4.5 stars. I highly, highly recommend you guys to read it. Lots of people are giving this a 5 star. They're saying it's their favorite book of the year so far. And honestly, I can understand why it is. Like, I think you can sort of see the dark, ominous sort of style of the mood board I've got, which I'll put up on the screen now. With the background of where Heath and Kat come from, I was just like, this makes sense. And I also think that there was just a lot of like party socialization. Like, it was all very class related. So whenever they'd go to parties, it was all about them trying to, boost their social skills and their social hierarchy and get in with the right people and know the right people. It's all about like the networking of it all. That's sort of like where I get like the party side from, because there were quite a few moments of them together where they did sort of let loose and let free. And then we've also got all of the dark side, which sort of comes with the negatives of, how they got to this spot and how hard it was for them to get there and where they've come from, but also once they got there, how dark it was for them as well, being in that position. So we can't really do bright and fun colors like the cover has suggested here, because this is anything but. It was a little bit moody throughout the entire thing, but it was fun and I had a great time. That this mood board sort of prompts you to pick it up, because I highly, highly recommend this. So, so good. I have officially started book 2 for this vlog. I'm currently roughly 70 pages in. I'm reading it on Kindle, but I have got the physical book here. It is the Book of Azriel. I think that is how you pronounce it. I need to double check that. This is technically my book club's pick of the month. If you don't know, because I don't think I've announced it on my channel yet, but I have started a Fable book club. I have technically had this book club for over a year, but I've just never done anything with it. So I've decided this month I'm gonna officially start and post things on this Fable account. Posted a poll on Instagram. You guys chose the Book of Azriel for the book club pick, and yeah, that's why I'm reading it this month, and I thought I'm going to include it in this vlog and let you guys know about the book club for next month. So the Book of Azriel by Amber V. Nicole, this is about Diana. So she makes a deal with Caden, and forgive me for saying this, but I don't really understand how to pronounce their kind's name. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt it, but they're basically like these monsters, and she makes this deal to save her sister. Caden has full control power over Diana and only allows her visits to see her sister few and far between, so she's basically under his control the entire time when she's not with her. She's been ordered to hunt down this ancient relic, which, as you can tell by the name of the title what it is. Throughout the process of them finally getting more and more clues, she's being given all of these little tasks, etc. When she finally starts getting somewhere, she does get involved with the world ender. I was about to say the world leader, the world ender, which is Sam Kill. And we've only just been introduced to him one chapter that I read of his, so I'm sort of getting an understanding of where his background and his ancient god, like whatever they are, they're basically like these big god warriors. With him being the world ender, and we've also then got Diana, they are literally complete or mortal enemies. Sam Kill was involved with the Gods War, so his father was obviously the leader before him, and after the Gods War, Sam Kill's gone into hiding, and that's what I've just learned about more in this chapter a little bit. So he's really not ultimately Sam Kill has been like denying himself of the crown, so he's been in hiding for quite a while now, like a couple of centuries. And also that's how old Diana is roughly being this monster for. She's been around for a couple of centuries as well, so they are quite old, both of them, which luckily she's not some like little 18-year-old, which I'm very thankful for. So Sam Kill's actually come back into her world, which it is sort of like an urban fantasy as well. I forgot to mention that. And it's all because of Diana and her little group of people ended up killing one of his, and he's obviously now wanting to seek revenge and come back and help save all of the other people that he loves. Now that he's arrived, I don't really know where it's going to go from here. That's really all the information as well we've got on the back, so it is just like a very strange thing for me to describe right now, because I can't pronounce half the things in here, so I need to really search up how to pronounce what kind she is. And let me try and find it. It's Igmorthan. She basically has red eyes, and he has silver eyes and silver veins, and she bleeds red blood, I believe. And then there's also all of these different creatures within this realm that also all have different colored eyes and different colored bloods. It's very cool, but I'm also feeling like they're more like vampires because she does eat humans and she's just like blood hungry. And I don't really know what Sam Kill eats. I'm not 100% sure. He's a god, but like I'm getting vampire vibes. That's how I can really describe it. So yeah, not really 100% sure yet. I'm still a bit confused. I'm less than 100 pages in. Maybe when I've got more of an idea, I'll be able to explain the plot a bit better. I'll probably maybe have to refilm this. So bear with me. I've started saving some photos for the mood board so far, and they are quite fun. They are quite cool because she's able to use her hands to have fire. Like she's literally like able to shapeshift as well. It's so cool. I'm very excited to show you guys the mood board, and I'm actually really enjoying it so far, and I think I'm enjoying it more than the favorites. So that is a great start to the book. We will see if this feeling continues. I'm 90% into this book, and I've not given you an update since I was last spoken to you. I don't know what happened, but I blacked out last night. I probably was at maybe 40% at that point, and I was like, okay, I'll read a little bit tonight, and then I'll check in tomorrow at like 50%. The action just kept coming. I could not stop, couldn't put the book down. I was up to maybe like 11, 12 roughly, and then I woke up at 6 o'clock and continued reading all morning. Now it's 11:30, I've just gotten ready. Why have I not updated you? Why have I not sat down and given you an update? From where I was when I last spoke with you, I was a little bit lost with how the world was working and where the plot was going, because it was taking so long to get to the actual plots. I'd say maybe by 250 pages, like I really knew like where the story was going. Because this is a continued series as well, like it's just like taking its time building, and I was just so lost, which not completely lost, but I was just like trying to figure out everyone's place, who I trust, etc., which I still don't know, but I'm figuring it out as I go. I've been slowly updating as well each chapter in my book club, and I'm just like, oh my god. It's been crazy. I don't really know how I'm feeling about like a rating for it at this stage. It's definitely like a bit different to like all the other books that I've read recently. Like it's got like a wittier side than I would usually read for a fantasy book. Like it's very vulgar in its language, but I'm also like enjoying it a lot. It has like 21st century vocabulary, but also it is an urban fantasy, but it's also not with like urban people, but the story and the plot is all about like ancient history. So it's sometimes I forget that I'm in an urban fantasy. Oh yeah, right, like this is why they're talking the way they're talking. Like I just keep forgetting because they're talking about like, oh, we gotta find this relic, where's this relic? Like it just seems so like true fantasy. I mean, it is still fantasy, but you know what I mean. I can't really remember like what I'd updated you on, but something happens with her relationship with all of them, and she now finds herself linked to Liam, and I don't want to spoil what happened, but now she has another bond with Liam. Yeah, she's gone from one powerful man to a new powerful man, having a blood link to them, and now Caden, obviously being the big bad man that he is very territorial and is hunting her down because he wants her back and wants to keep her prisoned up. So now Liam is trying to protect her from him, as well as also trying to keep his deal that they have together, and they're sort of working together now on the road, trying to figure out where this book is because they want to keep it from him for some reason, which I'm not going to explain. But yeah, it's all about finding this book, and both teams are now trying to find the book, but there's also other people who are in this world. There's celestial beings, there's vampires, there's just so many different creatures, but I'm enjoying it so much. Like I'm enjoying it so much. It's crazy. Like it's actually crazy. I know my description sounds like really strange, but like even the back of the book, when I read it, it's not how I interpreted the story to go. If you didn't understand what I said, just go in blind. Honestly, I think that's probably the best advice for this book. Like go in blind and you'll have the best time. It's got really good humor, really good plot. Like there's actual driving plot. Like we didn't get anywhere near a romance until like, not romance, but like I'm saying like something flirty until maybe like 300-400 pages in. So we really were building up the world and the plot and the story and like all these characters that we've now met, and there are quite a few characters in this book, so it is interesting. I'm very excited to see like where all of these characters go and if we get different books for different characters, because I'm wondering how this is all going to play out. Anyway, I don't really know. Yes, go in blind, you will love it. It's so much fun. I have 20 minutes left of the audiobook, and I think this is the last chapter. It's chapter 51 that I'm listening to, and I'm assuming the remaining is going to be, what's the word? Acknowledgements. So I'm just going to finish this morning, and then I'm probably going to move into my third book this afternoon. Right now, there is so many plots and twists happening, like I'm actually like so invested. I hate him. I hate him. I'm so stressed.
Oh my god!
Oh my fucking god. What just happened? I was assuming something like that was going to happen, but I didn't think it was actually going to happen the way it happened. Like, I thought that was going to be later down the line. I need to pick up book 2. I'm literally going to go buy it right now. Wow, this book was so, so good. I cannot wait to start making the mood board now. I mean, I've already started it, but I need to like complete it. That was like, it was so much fun from start to finish. Yeah, I'm going to come back to you with my review very soon. I'm just going to think on it for a bit with what my rating might be. It's been about an hour. I've thought about my rating, and I feel like I may give this a 4-star rating just because I really enjoyed the slow burn of the enemies to lovers. This did feel like a true enemies to lovers. Like, they were literally fighting to the death when they first met each other. I will say it definitely was very confusing for me at the start, so I do wish that it was a little bit more easier with understanding all of the different relationships, because sometimes it gives you so much information, and I think it would probably be best maybe to go back and reread the first few chapters because you were given so much, and then now I'm slowly starting to learn it a little bit better as I went on, and I really wish that maybe that was given a little bit differently, but nonetheless I still ended up figuring it out, so it's not that big of an issue. I do need to get book 2, which obviously I told you I was ordering because I really need to continue the series. And then as I went on to Fable to put in my review, I saw someone else say, I've just finished this book, why did no one tell me that this was a 7-book series? And I just went, excuse me? An unfinished series that is 7 books long and we've only got 3 books out? What have I got myself into? Oh no. I'm gonna have to definitely continue the series, but I'm just gonna have to be in the waiting boat with everyone else until the next books arrive because, yes, it is so addicting. Yes, it is so good, and I still want to continue. And I've just put myself in this position now where it's that good that I can't stop myself because I see where the setup is going for the rest of the series, especially with the ending. It's now just added something else to the book and the characters, etc. And I really can't wait to like see where it progresses. I do hope that we don't stick with, just following the same characters throughout. Maybe like a couple books we switch here and there. I don't really know how she's going to handle the series, but it would be cool if we got to see other couples grow as well, not just from these 2 characters in particular. Anyways, what we've all come here for, I've officially created the mood board, as you can see on the screen here. I had the best time creating it. It literally was like choosing all of the best parts of a fantasy world and then also adding in the urban fantasy, which sometimes I was forgetting throughout this book that this was urban fantasy, and then all of a sudden like they'd pull out a flip phone or whatever they were using and I'm like, oh, right. Highly recommend this. 4-star read, and I don't really know what I'm going to go into this afternoon, but I think I need to go into something a little bit easier and lighter because these 2 books that I've read have been quite long books, all over 400 pages. If I do pick something up, it has to be just like an easy read on the brain. I think that's what I need right now. Maybe something from my physical TBR. I will show you in the next picture what I've chosen.
As you can see, I did pick up The Nanny by Lana Ferguson. I'm about 3 chapters in. I'm not very far, but I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update about what this book was about if you've not heard about it. The Nanny came out quite a couple of years ago now, I think, maybe 2023 possibly. It's been on my TBR for so long, and because my partner had chose it this month for my monthly TBR, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. So basically on the back it says that we have Cassie and we've got Aiden. Cassie is a special video content creator for adult content. Aiden is a single dad and he's looking for a nanny to be live-in at his house, and Cassie is currently trying to find like a live-in position so that she's solving some of her problems, because what I've learned in the first couple chapters is that she's struggling to pay her bills, so she needs somewhere to live, and she's just moved in with her friend who's like an elderly lady. It's not quite like the best situation for her, so this live-in position is like she needs this job sort of thing. Basically the plot twist, which we know about from the start of the book, and I'm pretty sure the characters are going to figure it out quite soon. I'm not 100% sure. The plot twist basically is that he was one of her subscribers. I don't really know to what extent or anything like that, so we will find out as we read along. We're about to meet his daughter, which her name is Sophie. They've just met at a cafe now to do her job interview. They have met in person, but they've not clicked that they know each other, so I'm assuming that there's going to be some turning point for.
Morning, besties. I'm having such a bad morning. I've woken up, I've got the worst cramps, and I just don't feel like myself. It's raining outside. I'm just like, oh my god. It's gonna be one of those days, isn't it? I'm at chapter 22. We're sort of getting to the stage of the book where obviously we have Sophie is the daughter. Cassie and Aiden are slowly obviously building that physical and emotional relationship, and we've got to the stage where like they're trying to discuss like what they do moving forward with Sophie. We've got this much to go, and I'm thinking like, what else is there really? So I feel like there's going to be some form of a conflict with people finding out, because obviously this is not your typical power dynamic. Not really 100% sure how they're going to handle it, because so far how they've been discussing it I've not really been agreeing on what I would expect like from people who are aged 25 and 32. Maybe 25, not so much, but even like I'm only a couple years older than that, and it's still, I wouldn't be handling it like that. I know I shouldn't take it so seriously, but I'm also like getting annoyed at them because I'm like, why are you doing that? Stop. Like so far I've really enjoyed like this part of the book. Yes, it has been spicier, but I knew that going in, especially with what the content was on the back. Like I knew that this was going to be that type of book. But I've had fun up until this point. Maybe the first few chapters I thought she was a bit of a pick-me because she kept referring to herself as tiny, and think like just in general her size compared to his size. Besides that, for the most part it's been fun. Like it's been a good read. Not obviously the best, but I've had a great time. The relationship with Cassie and Sophie has been fun to read about. I also enjoyed Sophie as a child character. I think she's quite funny, quite witty, because she's 9 years old, but she's also got like the attitude of like a 13-14-year-old. She's very like on the ball with her remarks back, and I think that that makes it fun, and like it's a good banter between all the characters rather than like having like a really young child. Usually with a single parent romance, I feel like sometimes like the kid just makes like random here and off comments, which they're just sort of like a side thing to the story. But this feels like actually like Sophie is a very like, she actually feels like she's part of the single parent trope. Like she's there, she's in every single chapter basically, and if she's not in the actual scene, she's still brought up as some form of like a, where is she, what's she doing. Like they're always keeping track of what Sophie and what's on her mind and everything. But now I'm getting to a point where I'm just like, the way that they're handling their relationship, that's annoying me. That might bring down the rating if I don't like the way that they end this book. 100 pages to go.
I've officially finished The Nanny. I finished it this morning and I've had some time to think about it, and I'm really certain on where I'm going to rate this. Like this was probably the only book where I was like 100% certain as soon as I finished it that I knew that I was going to give it a 3 star. It is a good rating, but it's also like I didn't fall in love with this book while I was reading it. Like it was good enough to like get me through, and I was entertained, and I think that it's, you know, a fun, spicy book, but I wouldn't say that I would ever reread this book. I would still recommend it to people if they're looking for this sort of spicy book, but I wouldn't say this is like my favorite book of all time. But I had a good time, and yeah, I would still say, look, if you're in a slump and you want something that's fun and so easy, try give this a go. It may get you out of it just because it is a good time, and you don't actually have to think while you're reading it. You're just going along for the ride. So yeah, I would recommend this if you're in a slump. I don't know if I'm going to go into any more of Lana Ferguson's other books. If there's any recommendations which you think maybe are better than this, maybe I might give it a go, but this is my first time reading any of her books and I don't really know if I would continue at this stage. I'm just going to see how it goes because I know she's got the Faked Mate or something like that, and then she's got a few other ones I've seen around. I did finalize my mood board about an hour ago. I'll put it up on the screen here. I think this is probably the most fun mood board, obviously having the front and center sign. I don't know if I can really show it on YouTube just yet, so I may have to blur the company of OF on here, but I mean it's for the book. I'm not promoting it. But I really think this mood board in particular really captures the essence of the book. Like there was a lot of scenes in the kitchen, a lot of their meeting points in the middle of the night while Sophie was sleeping were in the living room, kitchen, like just really cozy at home moments. A couple places at his workplace, but besides that, they really went to Disneyland, but they didn't really have moments at Disneyland. Again, it was at the Airbnb. Like they're all very at home, cozy moments. It just shows them at home growing this relationship because obviously she is the live in nanny and he's obviously the single dad, and you can sort of really see it. You can see all the tropes. And I really like the apple, what are they called? Snapples? I'm forgetting the name. There's like a drink. I think they're American. I've never heard of them, but they seem really cute. They've got like the lids on there, which you get a quote a day on them, or like I think they never use the same quote twice. So you do learn fun facts through the lids of the Snapple. So I had to include a few of those, and yeah, they had pancakes. There was like a lot of key moments in the book which I've put on here. So that was the final book for the mood boards. I am going to go back just to refresh you on the other books. So I did give the Book of Azriel a 4-star rating, and this is the mood board that I finalized for this video. We've also got the favorites, which I gave a 4.5 stars. And again, this is the mood board on the screen here for this particular book. I am so glad that I did this video just because I got 4 really good books. Oh, can I count? 3 really good books, and I really enjoyed making the mood board, so I definitely will be doing this video again purely just for my own entertainment. And I really enjoyed like sitting down, reflecting on the book, remembering like all the key parts of the book, putting it together. And I just think it's like a good way to visually show you the story rather than me just telling you the story. Yeah, so I really hope that the mood boards do try and convince you to pick up either the Book of Azriel and the favorites, also the nanny, but I mean those 2 in particular were my favorite. I really hope that you guys do go and pick them up. I think that they're definitely worth your time. But yeah, I'm probably gonna wrap up the video here, and if you are new to my channel, please make sure to subscribe. I do upload videos like this usually every week, but I wish you all a good day and I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you.